Hello, fellow mentally ill queer people. Oh fuck, there's a ball in shot. Inside, we've all watched it. I'm assuming if you're watching this video. If not, you have some kind of masochism. I would recommend watching it. It's a fantastic piece of art. As you can tell from the title of this video, this has sent me into a form of spiral that I cannot get out of again. If you don't subscribe after that, I'm going to assume you don't respect me or Bo Burnham. We can all agree that Inside would not be possible without two things. One, Bo Burnham's mental illness. Now that, I can say, arguably caused by the Catholic Church, but who's to say? Looking at a couple interviews by Bo Burnham, looking at a few interviews by Bo Burnham, looking at a few interviews by Bo Burnham, his rise to fame happened about early 2006, when his first YouTube video, My Whole Family, went viral. Basically a song about how his whole family thinks he's gay, haha, very funny. Homosexuality is the peak of comedy. Could be worse, you could actually be homosexual. And then he'd be like us, and where would we be? The joke of the song basically hinges on a very specific stereotype of gay men, which is the flamboyant kind of gay man, which has a very interesting history within the gay community. In fact, it's had such a massive history in the gay community that up until recently, popular media would continually portray gay men as camp and flamboyant and interior designers and extremely effeminate. This was specifically popularized by one man called Richard Greene, who was what they called at the time a sexologist. Yeah. He had basically noticed a trend that effeminate boys and men usually turned out gay or bisexual. And the way he did that is he basically picked up typically effeminate men, or effeminate boys, really, and checked in with them 15 years after they had been given the criteria of flamboyant, and discovered that approximately 90% of flamboyant boys turned out to be gay or bisexual.
The straight pride parade has officially started.
And that's a dumb fucking study. It only really proves that effeminate boys tend to be gay, not that gay people tend to be effeminate. And of course, this particular year of our Lord, people were privy to a little bit of hate crime here and there. You know, a little bit of a conversion therapy, as it were. So any study done at that time isn't particularly accurate when it comes to gay people. Anyway, so he made this book called Sissy Boy Syndrome. Yeah. Which basically detailed his findings with effeminate boys and how they grow into bisexual and gay men. And of course that was basically the widespread of the gay men being effeminate stereotype. But the word sissy and the bullying of effeminate boys as being gay obviously spanned to way before Richard's time. Although Richard, I know your heart was in the right place, bestie, but like, don't get me wrong, Richard Greene has done actually quite a few good things for gay rights, including fighting against it being a diagnosis in the DSM, for example. But sissy itself was basically used to feminize and victimize a lot of men. Sissy itself was actually created in the 1840s as a kind of opposite word to buddy. Buddy basically means brother, and sissy means sister. Kind of like the shitty slang that you see nowadays, like, this list hits different, fam. Big yikes. It's like Big Yikes, except in the 1840s. Bop. Cancelled. Cap. Catch these hands. It's so obvious an adult wrote this. As we know now, buddy was formed into a kind of friendly term of endearment, I'm assuming because of its association to masculinity. But on the other hand, sissy kind of did the opposite. Eventually it was used as a derogatory word to describe weaker or inferior men, because obviously us as women are in fact weaker and inferior sex. I'll just go and make a sandwich real quick. Give me a second. I just had bread. But by 1885, sissy had actually lost its original meaning of sister and had become completely derogatory. And I think we can pretty definitively say that's due to misogyny. I'm not a scientist, I could be wrong. With a little drum roll, can we get a little going? Who pushed the idea that women were the weaker sex in order to control the populations in the West? The Catholic Church! To summarise, the Catholic Church creates misogyny. Sissy becomes derogatory due to misogyny. Also, I know the Catholic Church didn't create misogyny, but, you know, we'll run with that idea. The effeminate stereotype is then applied to typically feminine men. Richard Greene associates being feminine with being gay. This creates a stereotype of gay men being effeminate, which provides the base for Bo Burnham's very first joke song, My Whole Family Thinks I'm Gay. Without this song, Bo Burnham would not have rose to fame. Well, he might have, but who's to say? He created Inside. Bing, bada boom, bada bing. The Catholic Church created Bo Burnham, created Inside. Thank you for listening to my mentally ill rants. This is definitely probably up there for the most mentally ill of my videos. Please subscribe to me. Please. Here, I'll continue to copy him. Look, I'm the next Bo Burnham, except I'm female. Don't do this with your knives. Don't do that with your knives, kids. Anyway, bye!